Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Lifting Community Spirits. I'm your host, Fred Holley. I'm the event coordinator for Republic National Distributing Company, and today's guest is Arkesha Baquet of the Baquet family. Arkesha is not only the owner, but she's the GM, and she's the proprietor of Little Dizzy's, and we got a number of questions to ask her today. So this is a absolute New Orleans famous neighborhood restaurant in the line of a Mandina's, a Barrows, a Dunbar's, and many other iconic New Orleans neighborhood restaurants that have always catered to the locals. So, in starting off, Arkesha, I'd like to find out what exactly has been your background in the history of the Baquet family, because I know it started in the 1940s, 1947, I believe. It was Eddie Baquet that started it up?
Well, there was actually Paul Gross Chicken Coop, which was a relative in the Baquet family that started that particular restaurant, and okay. Eddie Baquet worked for her, Anna.
Right.
And so then he opened up Eddie's on Law Street. And during that time, Eddie's was just a place where people fried chicken and got fried catfish, and it was kind of like a takeout spot for poor boys. And then it just developed and grew into a sit-down restaurant at some point. My father-in-law, Wayne Baquet Sr., went in and he helped his father with that restaurant for some time. Mm-hmm. And then he went on and branched out on his own and created a few Baquet restaurants of his own. And then he retired his father, Eddie Baquet, and just continue to make the Baquet legacy grow. He's had about 6 or 7 restaurants. Most famously was Zachary's on Oak Street in Carrollton. Yep. About 20 years ago, he sold it and he retired for about 6 months. And then he opened Little Dizzy's Café here on Esplanade Avenue in the heart of Treme. And Little Dizzy's opened in 2004. And in 2020, March of 2020, due to COVID, he had to close. And then in November of 2020, he decided to retire.
And so then how did you come into the picture?
Well, I married into the Baquet family. How lucky could I be? I am married to Wayne Baquet Jr. And when my father-in-law, Wayne Baquet Sr., decided to retire in November of 2020, his son and I met and we talked about it, and we realized we didn't want the legacy to continue because, as we spoke about, Eddie Baquet had started the legacy, right. And my father-in-law Wayne did it, and so we didn't just want it to end. And so my husband and I purchased the restaurant in December of 2020, and then we reopened on February the 14th.
It's fantastic. Now, I certainly have a little history with you, which I wasn't real familiar with, but at one point, you worked for the company that I worked for, Republic National Distributing Company. So tell me how that came about, because obviously you are an ambitious woman, and coming to us like you did, how did that happen?
Well, I originally worked at Imperial Trading Company, and I was where I met my husband, Wayne Baquet Jr., and Wayne had became the president of Imperial. And so you couldn't work for your spouse, so somebody had to find other employment, and that was me. And I was blessed to find employment at Republic, where I was the purchasing manager for a few years. But after Katrina, I relocated to Atlanta for a while, and then I had some things that took place where I moved on. And then I became a substitute teacher. And up until this February, I was a paraprofessional at Alice Hall Charter School, where I had been for the past 6 years. Okay. I've done a few things. Some people are not aware that my father-in-law owned Little Dizzy's Café at the Whitney Wyndham. And I ran that restaurant as the general manager from 2010 to 2012. So I do have some restaurant experience.
Well, very good. Well, I know how important it is, especially for restaurant families here in the city of New Orleans, to continue that legacy, and certainly I hand it to you for doing that. So, authentic Creole soul food. Yes. Tell us a little about the food that you serve, and how the pandemic has changed that up a bit.
Well, prior to the pandemic, Dizzy was a buffet this restaurant was a buffet. We had breakfast. It was open 7 days a week. Due to the pandemic, my father-in-law had to make a tough decision because of COVID restrictions where you could not serve in a buffet manner. So he closed in the hopes of reopening, but things didn't come back as quickly as he hoped. So in November, he retired. And so when my husband and I purchased the restaurant, we had to figure out what was the best way for us to open the restaurant up. So we decided that we would not do breakfast and we would not do the buffet at this time. We're starting off with lunch only, Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. But we brought back the staple items that Dizzy's is known for. Our gumbo, our fried chicken, our po' boys. We wanted to bring those items that you can get from the Baquet family cookbook and make sure that our local customers and loyal customers who have been fans of Dizzy's since 2004 could still experience those same amazing items.
Right. Well, tell me, in regards to your core patron, before the pandemic, who was your core patron and who is it now?
Well, we had tourism because, again, Dizzy's is in the heart of Treme. So there's a lot of moving parts around in Treme. So you can catch the eye of someone who lives down the street, or you can catch the eye of someone who comes from Virginia or Texas that is just in the city. So it could vary. We do have some of those committed local customers that still come to Dizzy's even though it's in a different manner. We do have new customers who I've spoken to had never been to Dizzy's at all. And it was their first time they had heard about it, but they are recurring customers since February at this point.
Right, right. Well, certainly I think I experienced that because there was a four-top of people from Kentucky that got off the streetcar on Canal Street and walked all the way here.
Walked all the way here, correct.
That certainly says something about the legacy that Little Dizzy's has. So tell me this in regards to once this pandemic ends, and from past experience where there's been a number of restaurants within the Baquet family, are you considering expanding the Little Dizzy's name?
Well, we are definitely not against it. My husband and I are open to all possibilities. If you come to Dizzy's on a Saturday, you'll come and you'll find my husband Wayne here, you'll find my 16-year-old son Gene here, and my 8-year-old son Jace here. So this is a family business. The motto of a Baquet family restaurant is real. So there's not going to be a day you come here and there's not a Baquet here. And we're hoping that the legacy will continue on. My goal in taking on this restaurant is to make sure it continues to grow from the success that my father-in-law has set the groundwork for, and for me to carry that torch on and then pass it on to my children.
Tell me this, how did the Little Dizzy's name come about? Because I think that's important and it's family.
Yes. Well, Little Dizzy's originated off of my husband's oldest son, Zachary Baquet. Zachary played the trumpet in high school, and when he blew his trumpet, his cheeks inflated so big they called him Little Dizzy for Little Dizzy Gillespie. And that's how the name of the restaurant came about, because he had a restaurant named Zachary's. Right. And so he created Dizzy's because he had so much success from Zachary's.
I got you. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, we just had a guest stop in. Her name is Meagan Burke. She is the marketing director for Ole Orleans Winery, and these are the wines that we have today. And Ole Orleans Winery, if I don't take too much thunder from Meagan, is the first owned black winery in the state of Louisiana, and Kim Lewis, who is the winemaker, is the first black winemaker. She wanted to be here, but she had another obligation, so unfortunately, we'll catch her another time. But Meagan is here to tell us all about Ole Orleans Winery. Hello.
Yes. Hi. Thank
you
you so
doing?
much for having us. We are excited to share our story and let everyone know to come visit us at Ole Orleans Winery.
So where are you located?
We are located at 1232 Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard, right there in Central City. Can't miss us. You know, Aretha Castle Haley is now an area that is booming.
Yep.
There are a lot of businesses, a lot of new construction going on. It's almost like another magazine on its way.
It is. It's got Café Reconcile,
Yes.
right? It's got a Mexican restaurant.
Yes.
It's got the Jazz Museum.
The Jazz
right?
Market.
Jazz Market. And
We have a lot of new nightlife spots
They
that's
got-
popping up.
the boxing thing is on every Friday, right?
What are you doing there?
Well, my grandfather was New Orleans' first world champion boxer, so I have visited the place.
Okay.
All
Now,
right.
I don't box myself, but that's why he said he boxed instead of me boxing.
Teaching
you know?
me something today.
there you
Okay,
go.
we're going to have to add that to our book of things to mention.
Right. So you have a number of wines available, and
Yes.
RNDC is your wholesaler, so you're our supplier. Tell us a little about the wines that you have and the very famous New Orleans names.
Okay, so Ole Orleans, we have a collection of 18 wines. 8 of them are winery exclusive. That's for our members and our visitors. And then for our retail side, we have 10 wines that we are distributing, hopefully throughout the entire United States, really soon. So today we have our Heritage, which is our Riesling. We have our Vieux Carré, which is our Rosé. And we have 504, which is our red blend.
Very good. Well, ladies, let's just cheers one time. Here, huh? Very good. And so, Meagan, tell us a little about the marketing angle in regards to a startup winery per se. And you started in 2018, correct?
Yes, Kim
and then the
started in
pandemic
2018.
hit. And so, what has changed in that regard?
Not much has changed, but there's been a lot of growth. So that's always a good thing to be able to grow. So Kim started this business in 2018 as an avid lover of wine and a traveler. She's also a serial entrepreneur and a lover of history. So she jokingly mentioned that she wanted to start a wine company while she was on a trip, and her friends were like, yeah, go ahead. So what does Kim do? By nature, she goes and starts doing her research. She finds that there is a disparity in the market and there's a lack of representation. What does Kim say? I can do that. And then the rest is history.
Well, fantastic. It certainly takes guts like this young lady has right here. And, it takes ambition. So I certainly congratulate both of y'all. Hopefully you're going to get your liquor license real soon, right?
Well, Fred, we are working on it. My
All
husband is diligently working on bringing in, getting our liquor license. We are beyond excited to partner with Ole Orleans once we are able to get our liquor license. I have watched Kim from afar since she started, and I am beyond excited for her because they do not have a lot of African American women that are in that particular field, and it is awesome that she took the baton and decided to run with it. So
Absolutely.
I'm very, very happy for her.
Yes, I mean, and you can't beat our wonderful wines with your food. I mean, Lil Dizzy's is a staple in the community. We were so excited to see you guys come back. And then our wines are based on the culture of our city. So, a lot of the names that we come up with, they're not just regular tourist attractions. New Orleans is not just about where you go in the French Quarters, but it's also about the heart of the city and the family. Our neighborhoods is the culture of the city. So every neighborhood you go into, there's different things that they do, but it all makes up New Orleans. So we highlight not just the tourist attractions, but we highlight, Treme with our Vieux Carré. We highlight all of the African American accomplishments that happen within the city. So everything from Old Carrollton to Chapatulas. And then we have some other wines that are coming out that are based on Kim's family, like Odeon. And we have the Point, which is Algiers, where her family is from. So there's tons of good stuff that's coming out. I mean, it's like history in a bottle.
Well, that's fantastic. And I'm sure that there's no better city in the United States to start up within the Black community, a business as such, and to make it work. And certainly as your wholesaler, we're going to do our best to make it work for sure.
Absolutely.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this segment of Lifting Community Spirits. Tune in next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
There you go. Beautiful. Fantastic. Very good, ladies.
I'm not new to this, Fred.